Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at a Husqvarna 572XP chainsaw. Customer complaint is that it won't start. We suspect it's the ignition module, and we'll dig in here a little bit deeper and confirm that. Out comes the spark plug, and we will lay it on top of the cylinder head. You know, there's other ways to do it. Use a spark checking tool, whatever. No spark. So we're going to go ahead and replace the ignition module on this one. While he gets started on that, let me tell you a little story. A friend of mine is a firefighter, and he was out in front of the firehouse there. You know, they do their regular maintenance, polishing the fire truck. And he noticed next door there was a little girl, and she had a little red wagon with ladders on the sides and a garden hose all coiled up neatly inside the wagon. And pulling it was her cat and her dog. She had a rope hooked up. And the fireman, you know, he kind of compliments, you know, nice rig you got there. Oh, she's like, thank you very much. And he takes a closer look at it, and he notices that the tow rope is connected to the dog's collar, and the other end of the tow rope is connected to the cat's testicles. And he says to the girl, you know, I don't want to tell you how to run your rig or anything, but you probably could go faster if you tied that other end of the rope around the cat's collar. And she thought about it a little bit. She goes, yeah, you're probably right, but then I wouldn't have a siren.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
Okay, that was a little bit of a long-winded joke, but you know, you gotta squeeze a few of them in here now and then. So what did we miss? Not a whole lot. We unbolted the ignition module. The 572 comes with a track built into the wiring harness that just snaps in place. And then this white connector is it's actually locked onto the side of the carburetor, and that's all part of the auto-tune system. The ignition module and the carburetor speak to each other. So we got that wire apart. We got our new module and harness, which is one part number, one piece. We got those, you know, the wire hooked back up here. And then we got to get it snapped back into the little clip on the side of the carburetor to hold it in place. I probably edited out a little bit of video on this one because there can be some monkeying around, you know. I tried to do this, I guess, taking as many shortcuts as I could. So we're hooked back up on the carburetor end. Now we got to get the module laid in place, and then, you know, this pre-formed wiring harness, even though it's got a couple of clips there, it's a little bit stubborn, so you have to monkey around with that a little bit. Let's go. It's good people don't have all day, do you? You think you got it? There you go. Jab it with a screwdriver. That'll help that wiring harness. Let's go! So as you can see, this thing, it seems like a good idea, and the wire is probably well protected. You got to get it in there just right. Alright, what's the next step? We're going to bolt in the ignition module. And this can get bolted in just anywhere, right? Wrong. You knew that. You have to set the armature air gap, or air gap. I'm using a metal feeler gauge, I guess you could call it. It's, I think, an Echo part number, but it works pretty good. For some reason, that plastic Husqvarna gauge that I got, sometimes I get some weird results with it. I can put it in between there and tighten it down, but then after I pull the plastic spacer back out, I can't get it back in the gap. When I use the metal one, I don't have that problem. So we got our spark plug high tension lead in place. I don't know what the orange tape on there means, but usually when they do that, there was something changed or checked or whatever. You know, the parts went through the assembly line and they went back and looked at them and they marked them a certain way. Something to that effect. So we'll get the starter mechanism bolted into place. For some reason, it's fighting me as well. And it looks like I got fumble fingers today. So, let's see if we got spark. I couldn't see it, could you? I think he must have saw it, otherwise we wouldn't be moving ahead on this. Alright, let's prime it and see if it runs. You noticed it smoked a bit there. That's because, you know, the guy pulled and pulled and pulled on it and flooded it out when it didn't have spark. So we put a new module in. We're gonna update the firmware in the auto tune. This is the common service tool that's used for doing that. If you take a close look here and pause this, you can see that we need to know things like what model, what ignition module's in there, and then you can look and see whether or not you need to update it. So that's all I got for you on the 572XP ignition module swap. Thanks for watching. Later.